Your first job is always an interesting one. Some get a paper round, some work in a shop, and some pull pints. But what about football managers? Today we're going to go through every Premier League manager and look back at their first ever job in management. Unai Emery Lorca Deportiva. The new Gunners boss is enjoying a belated honeymoon period after back-to-back defeats to Manchester City and Chelsea, with his Arsenal team really clicking into gear in the past few weeks. A move to the Emirates meant that the North London team would be Unai Emery's 7th job in the world of management, making his debut in the dugout back in January 2005. His final club as a player would be Lorca Deportiva, and a knee injury would see him moving to the manager's position. The Spaniard had an incredible start, nearly securing back-to-back promotion from the third tier of Spanish football all the way to La Liga. Eddie Howe, Bournemouth. Just like Unai Emery, Eddie Howe's final club as a player would be where he made his managerial debut. After retiring early due to injury, Howe returned to Bournemouth as a youth coach and would become the Cherries' caretaker boss on New Year's Eve 2008 after Jimmy Quinn got the sack. Howe guided them to safety, and the rest is history, with Bournemouth now sitting pretty in the top half of the Premier League after climbing through the divisions. Just ignore the fact that Howe briefly went to Burnley. Chris Hughton, Tottenham. The Brighton boss is a lovely man despite his half and half hair, but his management career hasn't been that lengthy despite his age of 59. Before Brighton, Hughton was in charge of Norwich, Birmingham and Newcastle, with the latter giving him his first permanent job in management. But back in 1997, Hughton got his first taste of management, taking over as caretaker boss at Tottenham after Jerry Francis left the club. It would take more than 10 years for Hughton to be the main man in the dugout once again, becoming Newcastle caretaker in 2008 after Kevin Keegan left the club. Sean Dyche, Watford. The mastermind behind Burnley's recent success has a short managerial CV, with Watford the only other team alongside the Clarets. Having played for Watford for 3 seasons between 2002 and 2005, Dyche would become manager of Vicarage Road in June 2011. The Ginger Mourinho had climbed up the ladder from youth coach to assistant to the main man at Watford and finished 11th in their first season in charge. However, it would be his only season there, losing his job after the club changed owners. Neal Warren, Gainsborough Trinity. Now here's a manager with a lengthy CV. 69-year-old Neal Warren has been around the block plenty of times and has climbed the leagues throughout his managerial career, starting right at the bottom back in 1981. Warnock had spent time coaching on Sunday League football before getting the job at non-league side Gainsborough Trinity. Who'd have thought that 37 years on, Warnock would still be going, let alone in charge of a Premier League club? Meanwhile, Gainsborough Trinity are competing in the Evo Stick Premier Division and have started the season well. Maurizio Sarri, Steer. The inventor of Sarri Ball has had an interesting career, and one that might not be as illustrious as you may think. Sarri used to play for a team in Tuscany whilst also working in a bank before ending his career due to injury. His first management job came in 1990, remaining in Tuscany with a side called Steer, who apparently played in the 8th tier of Italian football. Now he's in the top tier of English football with Chelsea, but he's never actually won a major trophy, despite his lengthy career and exciting style of play. Roy Hodgson Halmstad. The veteran's career has taken him all over Europe, but Roy Hodgson's managerial career actually began in Sweden because of a man named Bob Hughton, who was Malmo boss at the time and knew Hodgson from school or something, and then the pair met again at Maidstone United, where Hodgson was his assistant at the age of 23. But back to his time in Sweden, and Hodgson was a revelation, winning 2 league titles with a side that had been tipped for relegation when Roy took over. Marco Silva, Estoril. Considering that Colin Farrell looked like he's only 41, Marco Silva isn't that far into his managerial career. The gaffer retired at the age of 34 after 6 years with Estoril and immediately became the club's director of football. Early into the new campaign, and Silva changed roles again, swapping a director's role to become the manager, and it was a decision he wouldn't regret. Silva achieved promotion with Estoril, winning the league, before coming 5th and qualifying for the Europa League the next season, before doing even better in his 3rd season, coming 4th before departing for Sporting. Slavica Jokanovic, Partizan Belgrade. Just like our past 2 managers, Slavica Jokanovic also had an immediate success in management. The Fulham boss's first job was Partizan Belgrade, returning the team he represented in the early 90s. Jokanovic's first season ended with a League and Cup double and a Manager of the Year award, but he didn't accept it after a poor showing in the UEFA Cup group stage. The following season he would do the double again, before leaving in September 2009 by mutual consent. David Wagner, Borussia Dortmund reserves. Initially just known as Jurgen Klopp's best mate, David Wagner has forged out his own reputation since arriving at Huddersfield and guiding them to the Premier League. But it was alongside Klopp where it all really began for Wagner, working alongside the now Liverpool boss as a coach at Mainz. Of course, Klopp would wind up at Borussia Dortmund and Wagner would soon follow, getting his first real management job in 2011. With Klopp in charge of the first team, Wagner was tasked with leading the reserves, or Borussia Dortmund II to give them their proper name, competing in the fourth tier of German football. Just a quick disclaimer, we're going to include management of reserve teams as a first job if the team actually competes in a proper division, rather than just a reserve league like they do in England. Claude Phu El Monaco. The quietly spoken Frenchman was rewarded for his loyalty, having spent his full playing career at Monaco, playing 601 times for the club. After John Tigana left his post, Phu El was handed the manager's job at Monaco, having been reserve manager. Taking the job in January 1999, it didn't take Phu El long to win some silverware, delivering the league Untitled to Monaco before winning the French Cup a year later. How Leicester would love for Phu El to add some silverware to the Foxes trophy cabinet. It's been ages since they won something. Jurgen Klopp, Mainz. If you want to be really technical, Klopp's first management job was back in the 80s when he was at university, taking charge of Frankfurt D Juniors, who were an under-10 side. But in the adult world, Klopp's managerial debut came at Mainz in 2001, not long after his retirement, taking over from the sacked Eckhard Kratzun. He would spend 7 years in charge of the club, an incredible journey that saw them become a Bundesliga club for the first time, qualify for the UEFA Cup, suffer relegation, then fail to achieve promotion back at the first time of asking. Klopp stayed after the relegation, but became Dortmund boss in 2008. Pep Guardiola, Barcelona B. The best manager in the world today hasn't had a lot of variety in his management career, but everywhere he's been he's created an empire of sorts, and that all began in 2007. Guardiola was named as Barcelona B team boss and revitalised the second string in Catalonia, securing promotion as well as getting his hands on the big job at the new camp. After just one season with Barcelona B, Pep became the first team boss, and you know exactly how the rest of the story goes. Jose Mourinho, Benfica. Despite a less than stellar playing career, Mourinho was blessed as a coach, sitting under the learning tree of Sir Bobby Robson and Louis van Gaal. His big break in the hot seat would come at Benfica, with Mourinho being promoted from assistant manager after the sapping of Jupp Heynckes. This isn't where Mourinho's career took off though, leaving just months after joining, taking charge of only 9 league games due to a change in president at Benfica. Things could have been different again had Mourinho taken Sir Bobby Robson's offer to join him at Newcastle and eventually occupy the St James's Park dugout. Rafa Benitez, Real Madrid B. Speaking of Newcastle, Benitez also didn't have an illustrious playing career just like Mourinho. Ended early by injury, Benitez entered the coaching game at 26 years old, working with Real Madrid's youth sides. In 1993 he would take charge of Real Madrid's reserve side when they were playing in the second tier of Spanish football. Rafa would leave in 1995 with his first job away from Real Madrid coming at Real Valladolid, where he lost his job after 2 wins in 23 games. Obviously things would eventually click for Rafa as a manager. Mark Hughes, Wales. While every other Premier League manager started at a club side, Mark Hughes lost his management virginity to the international game, taking over from Bobby Gould as Wales manager in 1999. At this time Hughes still hadn't finished his playing career, not retiring until 2002 with Blackburn. But as Wales boss, Hughes did well, almost getting them to Euro 2004 only to lose a playoff. He would leave in 2004 for Blackburn Rovers, and the Welsh national side would eventually make it to that major tournament under the guidance of Chris Coleman. Mauricio Pochettino, Espanyol. A club legend at Espanyol, the Spanish side called upon Mauricio Pochettino to save them in 2009, becoming the club's 3rd manager of the season as they look to avoid relegation. They were able to do just that, finishing in mid-table as Pochettino coached a lot of the players who he used to play alongside. Poch's work earned him a new deal, signing a 3-year contract at the end of the season. Javi Grazia, Ponte Vedra. Retiring in 2004, Grazia started coaching for the Villarreal youth setup, but it would be 2007 when he got his big break as a manager, taking charge of Ponte Vedra in the Spanish 3rd tier. Despite coming top and then second the season after, Grazia was unable to get promoted, failing in the playoffs both times, before eventually sailing promotion with Cadiz. Now with Watford, will Grazia soon join the long list of Hornets managers who struggle to spend a year in the Vicarage Road dugout, or will his excellent early season form see him buck the trend? Manuel Pellegrini, Universidad de Chile. The elderly Chilean's starting management was very similar to Claude Phu El's. Pellegrini was a one-club man during his career, making more than 400 appearances for Universidad de Chile between 1973 and 1986. 2 years later he would become the club's manager, however it was a brief and sad tale. Pellegrini would leave midway through the season to do a coaching course in Europe, while the club would go on to be relegated, and there was an actual chance that they would dissolve. They would return to the top flight though at the first time of asking, while Pellegrini would go on to manage across South America before heading to Spain. And finally, Nuno Espirito Santo, Rio Ave. A Champions League and UEFA Cup winner at Porto under Jose Mourinho, albeit as a backup stopper, Nuno started his coaching career as a goalkeeping coach, first at Malaga and then at Panathinaikos. Rio Ave would be the first team to take Nuno on as a manager, and he did well there, coming 6th in his first season, then reaching 2 cup finals and qualifying for the Europa League in his second season. However, he would have to wait until the summer of 2018 to win his first actual trophy, guiding Wolves to the Championship title, which Wolves fans will be hoping is the first of many. So that's every Premier League manager's first job. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.